Shalom Yeladim. Let's learn about the Parsha. This is a very exciting Shabbat. We are starting a brand new Sefer. Do you remember which Sefer we're starting? It's the Sefer of Vayikrah. Let's remember all the 5 Sfarim that we have in the Torah. Do you remember the song? Let's do it together. Bereshit Shmot Vayikra Bamidbar and Devarim. These are 5 Chumashim of the Torah. Bereshit Shmot Vayikra Bamidbar and Devarim. These are 5 Chumashim of the Torah. Bereshit Shmot Vayikra Bamidbar and Devarim. These are 5 Chumashim of the Torah. Well, we know that when we begin a Sefer, the very first Parsha in that Sefer is going to be the name of the Sefer. So now you can guess what the name of the Parsha is. The Parsha of the week is Vayikra, Vayikra, Vayikra. The Parsha of the week is Vayikra, Vayikra. The Parsha of the week is Vayikra, Vayikra, Vayikra. The Parsha of the week is Vayikra, and he called Vayikra. Well, when we left off last week, Moshe Rabbeinu had finished putting up the Mishkan. It was a very special honor for him to put the Mishkan up. And now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to call him to come inside. He's the very first one to be able to go inside the Mishkan and learn about all the things that the Kohanim are going to have to do. And Moshe is going to teach them after Hashem tells him what to do. Now, let me ask you, Yeladim. Sometimes we really want Hashem to know how we're feeling. Sometimes we're feeling a little alone or scared. Sometimes we're feeling great and we want to share that. And sometimes we're feeling a little embarrassed because maybe we haven't done exactly what we're supposed to do. So how do we tell that to Hashem? How does Hashem know how we are feeling? The Torah gives us a very good solution. In the Torah, it tells us that anytime a person wants to become closer to Hashem and tell Hashem and show Hashem how they're feeling, he is able to bring a Corbin. A Corbin is an animal, a kosher animal, that we brought to the Mishkan to show Hashem how we are feeling at that particular time. If a person was feeling alone and he wanted to just connect to Hashem, then he brought a Corbin that was called an Ola. And that Corbin, that animal, was burnt on the Mizbeach, and it all went up to Hashem, directly to Hashem. If a person was feeling great and wanted to share his feeling of goodness with everyone around him, he would bring another Corbin, and that Corbin was called Shlamim, from the word shalom or shalem, feeling complete, feeling great, and feeling peaceful. That Corbin was shared. Some of the Corbin was burnt only for Hashem. Some of the Corbin was shared with the Kohanim, and the rest of the Corbin was eaten by the owner of the animal and his family. Now, there is another Corbin that a person brought when he made a mistake. And that Corbin was called a Corbin Chatas, from the word Chet, an Aveira. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want us to be far away from him. And every time a person makes a mistake or does an Aveira, a wall is made between us and Hashem. And every time we make an Aveira or do an Aveira, we go a little bit further and further and further away. We don't want to be far away from Hashem. So Hashem says, you will bring me a Corbin. Do you know why it's called a Corbin? Because it comes from the word karov, coming close. When a person brings that Corbin, that animal, and says that he is sorry and he does a complete teshuvah, what does he do? Vidui, he says what he did wrong. Charata, he feels sorry. And Kabbalah, and he tries not to do it again. Then Hashem says, I will come close to you. We will become closer again, and all those walls that you built are going to come down. And now me and you are going to be one. That is why a Corbin is called Corbin and not called Behema, an animal. It's called a Corbin because every time a person would bring a Corbin, it would make him closer to Hashem. When he was afraid, now he's closer. When he's grateful, now he's closer. When he made a mistake, now he's closer. What kind of animal does the Torah tell us can be brought to the Mishkan for a Corbin? So there are 3 kinds of animals. There is an ox, a sheep, and a goat. Something very interesting. Do you know that those 3 animals remind us of our avot, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? How does it remind us? Well, do you remember when Avraham did Hachnasas Orchim? He prepared an ox. He prepared meat for the Orchim to eat. So when we bring our ox as a Corbin to Hashem, we're reminding Hashem, guess what? We are also the children of Avraham. And we love you just like Avraham loved you. And when we bring a sheep, we are reminded of Yitzchak. Do you remember when Avraham Avinu took Yitzchak to be a Corbin, to be a present for Hashem? So when we bring the sheep, and in the end, what did we use? An ayil that comes from the family of the sheep instead, because Yitzchak did not become a Corbin. Instead, Avraham found an ayil special for him. Hashem put that in the bush for him. So when we bring a sheep as a Corbin, we're reminding Hashem, guess what? We are the children of Yitzchak. And just like Yitzchak loved you, we love you as well. And when we bring a goat, that reminds us of Yaakov. Do you remember when Yaakov went to get a bracha from Yitzchak? He needed to quickly find an animal before Esav came back. And what did Rivka say? She said, go out to the garden. I have goats of my own. Please take one of my goats and bring it as a meal for your daddy Yitzchak. So when we bring a goat, then we're reminding Hashem, look at us. We are not only us, but we are also the children of Yaakov. And just like Yaakov Avinu loved you, we do too. Sometimes there were people in Klal Yisrael that did not we're not able to buy a goat or a sheep or an ox. It costs a lot of money. So instead, the Torah says, you can still bring a korban. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be close to you. Instead, do you know what you're going to bring? You're going to bring a bird, a kosher bird. You're going to bring a dove or a pigeon. Those two you can bring as a korban as well, because you do not have enough money to buy a big animal. You can even do it. You can even make a korban with a smaller animal. And what happens if somebody did not have enough money to even bring a bird? Then the Torah says, you can make me a korban out of flour and oil and spices. It can be cooked, it can be fried, and it can be baked. Well, all of this was told to Moshe Rabbeinu. Then Hashem said, you need to know that an animal that comes onto my Mizbeach needs to be perfect. It can't have any scratches. It can't have any bruises. It cannot be sick, and it cannot have any broken bones. So the Kohen is going to inspect every animal before it is brought onto the Mizbeach as a korban. And when we bring it as a korban on the Mizbeach, there are going to be many jobs for the Kohen to do. He's going to have to sprinkle the blood in the different corners of the Mizbeach. He's going to have many jobs to do, but he's going to do it because he is your servant. He is a servant of Hashem, and he is a servant of Klal Yisrael. The Torah tells us another interesting thing, that when we bring a korban to Hashem, or on the Mizbeach, every korban needed to be salted with salt. And what do we do today when we don't have korbanot? We use salt on our table tonight, on Friday night, when we eat our challah. Our Abba is going to put salt on our challah. Why do we put salt on our challah? To remind us of the salt that was put on all the korbanot before they were given to Hashem. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Do we have a Mishkan today? No. Do we have a Beit HaMikdash today? Not yet. So, are we very far away from Hashem now? Can we not become closer? Can we not tell Hashem that we're afraid and we want to be right there with Him? Can we not tell Hashem when things are great and thank you? Can we not tell Hashem that we made a mistake and we want to become close again? We can. Do you know how we can? We can do it with tefillah, with our siddur. Anytime we're afraid, we take out our siddur and our tehillim and we daven. When we're happy and we're grateful, we take out our siddur and we sing Hallel. And when we are, we've made a mistake and we want to come closer to Hashem, we take our siddur and we daven and we show Hashem we don't want to be far away, but we want to be closer and closer. So we have a special power today. We have a special power. When we daven to Hashem, it is as if we are bringing beautiful korbanot to Hashem. And Hashem loves them just as much as if we were bringing the korbanot today. When we daven with kavanah, and we say each and every word, and we're not distracted while we're davening, and we're grateful that we have that connection, that closeness with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we use it all the time. Next week, we're going to hear about more korbanot, because there are some korbanot that only the people were able to give and bring. But there were also korbanot that the Kohanim brought for the Jewish people. Today, which korbanot did we talk about? Let's remember. We talked about the Ola, the one that goes right up to Hashem, belongs only to Hashem. Today we talked about the Shlamim, that we share when things are going well. And we talked about the Chatas, the way that we know that we did a mistake, but we come closer to Hashem by saying Vidui, Charata, and Kabbalah, by doing a Tshuva Shalema, and Hashem comes closer to us. So let's look at these pictures for a minute. What do you think? Is that man happy to come closer to Hashem? Oh yes, he is very happy that we have the korbanot to come close to Hashem. Here is a young man who's feeling pretty sad. He made a mistake. But do you think we can put a smile on his face? I think we can. He can bring a korban chatas and all the walls go down. Over here, we have a picture of the korbanot that we could bring. We have the ox, we have the goat, we have a cow, we have sheep, and over here we have the birds. And what do we have today? Instead of our korbanot, we have our tefillah. And we hope and we daven that we will soon have, instead of tefillah, we have the real korbanot in our new Beit HaMikdash when HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings it and builds it for us. Everybody have a beautiful Shabbos. I'll see you soon.